So good morning, class 11. And yesterday we had done about isomerism, and I just to revise, isomerism is the phenomenon in which the organic molecules have same molecular formula, but different structural formula or different three-dimensional arrangement of atoms in space. Now, based on the two, the isomerism is divided into two types: structural and stereoisomerism. Then, structural isomerism are divided into chain isomerism, position isomerism, functional isomerism, metamerism, and tautomerism. Okay, and your stereoisomerism is divided into geometrical and optical isomerism. Then yesterday we had done three types of structural isomerism in the previous class, and that was chain isomerism, functional isomerism, and position isomerism. Right? To continue from that, to continue from structural isomerism, now today we will do metamerism and tautomerism. Okay? So are you connected? Alright. Now let me explain what is metamerism. What is metamerism? Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Okay. So metamerism it is isomers which differ in the alkyl group on either side of the divalent functional group. Now there are certain terms which I need to explain. You know what are alkyl groups, right? Then what is divalent functional group? Divalent functional group means one which is having two valencies free. That means it has carbon chain or alkyl group on either side. There are two such functional groups. One is this. This is your ether, ROR, right? This is ether which is having two alkyl groups on either side. And another functional group is ketone, which is again having two alkyl groups on either side. Correct? So, metamerism will be restricted to only ether and ketone. If the molecule given to you does not have these two functional groups, then that means metamerism is ruled out. It will not show metamerism. Example I have given here of ether: CH3O, CH2, CH2, CH3. Now what does that mean? The alkyl group here is methyl and this one is propyl. Correct? Methyl and propyl. Now, if we name it by common name, I told you how ethers are named. IUPAC I will tell you later, but this is common name. There are two alkyl groups, methyl and propyl. Put them in alphabetical order. This has to be named in alphabetical order. So methyl comes first. Methyl, propyl, ether. Okay. Now what I will do, I will take this CH2 and bring it here. I will just shift one of the CH2. Reshuffling I will do. I will not add anything from outside and neither subtract. CH3, CH2, O, CH2, CH3. Now which are the two alkyl groups? Both are ethyl groups. So the name becomes diethyl ether. Okay? If I take one more CH2 group and put it over here, again it will become methyl and propyl. So that will not be a metamer. Okay? If the name is same, it is not an isomer. If IUPAC name is same, it is not an isomer. Is that okay? So here molecular formula is same, only the alkyl groups are different. Instead of oxygen, we can write C double bond O, and you can give the same example for ketone also. Okay? So if you get a short note to write, this much is more than enough for 1 mark. That is, isomers differ in the alkyl group on either side of the divalent functional group. I have not written here that they have same molecular formula because I have already given it to you in isomerism. But here you can write. Metamers are isomers which have same molecular formula but differ in alkyl group on either side of the divalent functional group. That is ether and ketone, and one example. This is more than enough. Okay? Now, is this clear? Now, the fifth structural isomer, the fifth type of structural isomerism is tautomerism. Now, this is a bit difficult to understand, but if you pay attention, you will be able to do that. Tautomerism is defined as, now the key word here is 1,3 hydrogen shift. It is defined as 1,3 hydrogen shift. It is defined as 1,3 hydrogen shift from one polyvalent atom to another. 1,3 hydrogen shift from one polyvalent atom to another. What is the meaning of polyvalent? Polyvalent means any atom having valency more than 1. So only hydrogen has valency 1 and fluorine has valency 1. Rest of them all have more than 1 valency. Okay? Can be carbon also, can be oxygen also. Okay? Alright. Example is keto, enol, tautomerism. Keto means it will have C double bond O, ketonic group. Enol means it is made up of two words. En means double bond and ol means OH group. En means double bond and ol means OH group is present. Now look here. I have drawn this ketone over here. CH3, CH2, C double bond O and CH3. Right? It has a positive charge here and negative charge here. How did we get this? When the pi bond will break, oxygen is more electronegative. It will take both the electrons towards itself. This will become minus and this will become plus. Right? Alright. Now what will happen? Look at this carbon atom. There is a hydrogen here. It will leave as H plus. If it will leave as H plus and join here, this will become OH. And since it is that hydrogen is leaving its both the electrons with carbon, what will happen? There will be a minus charge because hydrogen has left its electron with carbon. So this is minus and here hydrogen will join and oxygen will lose its negative charge. This carbon is having a positive charge. Now remember one thing very clearly. A positive charge on a carbon atom means empty p orbital is there. A positive charge on a carbon atom means there is a empty p orbital. And carbon has negative charge means it has two electrons. One of carbon and one came from hydrogen. If this gives two electrons to a positively charged carbon, it will form a double bond. Is that clear? So this is what it does. It gives its electron here and a double bond is formed. Now see, this molecule has got both OH, that is alcohol, and a double bond. So a combined name will be enol and ENOL. Why? En is ENE and OL. O is a vowel, so we'll drop E. So in continuation it becomes enol. ENOL. This one. Is this clear? This is known as enol tautomerism. I will repeat once again, okay? Because this is important and you will surely get it as short note in the finals. This or this. It is defined as 1,3 hydrogen shift. Now let me show you how it was 1,3 hydrogen shift. See here. Hydrogen is shifting from here. This atom is 1. This is 2. This is 3. Oxygen is 3. Carbon is 1. This carbon 2. Oxygen is 3. Right? So hydrogen is shifting from carbon atom to the third carbon atom. So it is 1,3 hydrogen shift. Carbon is also polyvalent and oxygen is also polyvalent. It is having valency more than 1. So 1,3 hydrogen shift from one polyvalent atom to the other. Is that clear? This is known as keto-enol tautomerism. What is the relevance of this keto-enol tautomerism? You know, if we have this ketone, this is butanol, butan 2O, right? Am I right? This is butan 2O. Now, if in a bottle you have got this you know, it will give you the test for ketone also, and it will give you the test for double bond also, and it will give you the test for alcohol also. Now, how come this is happening? This is happening is because of this tautomerism. The molecule can exist in this form also, and it can exist in keto form also, it can exist in enol form also, and because they are interconvertible into each other at room temperature, they do not require any energy from outside. At room temperature, the molecule has enough energy to break the bond, and when this bond will be formed, energy will be given out. This energy will again be required to break other pi bonds, again energy will be released. So it is compensated within the system itself. Okay, we don't require any energy from outside. Is that clear? So this is your tautomerics. Okay, all right. Now next we will go on to stereoisomerism. Okay, stereoisomerism. Now, what is stereoisomerism? I'll take you there because you need to look at the molecule closer. Can you see? This is stereoisomerism. Okay. Now, there were two types of stereoisomerism, geometrical and optical. Okay. All right. So, here we will first start with geometrical isomerism. Okay. All right. What are the two necessary conditions for geometrical isomerism? There are molecules, you must look around. See, 5, 6 molecules are given to you. Now, which one will show geometrical isomerism and which will not show geometrical isomerism will depend upon two conditions. So, look around for these two conditions in the molecule. First is presence of a double bond. Okay, presence of a double bond. Why this double bond? Only alkenes are going to show. Alkanes and alkynes will not show geometrical isomerism. I will come to that just now. Okay, and the second condition is this. You can see the two atoms attached to the two carbon atoms on either side of the double bond must possess at least, yes, at least one of the group of atoms or atoms should be common. Like group of atom is what? CH3, it is having group of atoms. Only Cl, it is having atom. So either Cl or CH3 or C2H5, whatever is present, one of the atoms or group of atoms should be common. Okay, should be common to both the carbon atoms. What is this dotted line which I have drawn? It is a line which will pass through the double bond. You cannot draw it like this. This line will be perpendicular to double bond. I am drawing a line passing through the double bond. Okay. Now, when we divide this, if you have similar groups on the same side, it is known as cis form. CIS, cis form. Now what? I will rotate this molecule like this by 180 degrees. Are you getting my point? This B will come above and A will go down. This I will rotate by 180 degrees. Okay? So then I will get transform. Is that clear? I will get transform. Now see, I have taken one molecule here and I have drawn the cis form of it. See here, methyl group is on the same side of the line passing through the double bond. Both the group of atoms is same. Here it is C2H5 and here it is hydrogen. Okay, all right. This is your cis form. Okay, now I will rotate it like this. Methyl group will come diagonally opposite to each other. Here, they are diagonally opposite to each other. Okay, so such a molecule will be known as transform. Trans means diagonally opposite. Okay, all right. One condition I am giving you. See this condition. A and A and this is different, C, D, B, anything it can be. But these two atoms attached to the same carbon atom, if they are same, will the molecule show geometrical isomerism? Will it show isomerism? Because if you rotate this by 180 degrees, what will happen? It will still be the same. This condition should not be there. The two atoms or group of atoms which are attached to the same carbon atom should never be the same. Two different atoms. The carbon atoms should be different. Okay? Then only geometrical isomerism is going to take place. And another thing is this. Yes, please ask. Yes, it is not necessary. I said one of the atoms. These are known as reference atoms or reference molecules. Okay. See, I am referring with respect to this group. It is cis. Other two can be any one of them. Okay. Other one can be anything. We are not comparing with respect to hydrogen or C2H5. Okay. I am comparing with respect to CH3. With respect to CH3, this is cis. If CH3 becomes this side. And one more important thing, you cannot rotate both the carbon atom. One carbon atom will remain fixed. It will be double bond like this. See my hand? Yes. And I had sent you a video before also that how to rotate single, double and triple bond. Look here. If I am going to do this, the molecule will become like this. I am rotating only one carbon atom. If both are rotated with respect to each other, position will not change. Right? Now, if yes, see, look at single bond. Single bond can be rotated by 360 degrees. See my rotation? This thumb, where it is going, it is can be rotated by full 360 degrees, isn't it? But a double bond, look at my thumb, can be rotated only by 180 degrees. Because beyond this, if I will, I'm feeling the pain in my fingers. That is strain in the bond. That is known as, in language of chemistry, that is known as strain in the bond. So if that happens, one of the bonds will break. And which bond will break? Pi bond will break. Okay. So what is the cause of geometrical isomerism? Why geometrical isomerism is occurring? Why did I say it is only present in a double bond? It is caused due to risk or hindered rotation. It is caused due to restricted or hindered rotation of a double bond. Single bond has free rotation. A free rotation doesn't mean that it will go on and on. No, it can be rotated by 360 degrees, right? A double bond can be rotated by 180 degrees, which causes geometrical isomerism. But a triple bond, the two pi bonds are perpendicular. In sp hybridization of acetylene, we had discussed this. The two pi bonds are perpendicular to each other. So the bond, triple bond, cannot be rotated at all. Is that clear? So only in case of double bond, we will have geometrical isomerism, and that is known as cis and trans isomerism. Okay, now some other day I will also discuss this condition. It can be A, B. Instead of A, you can have another different group. A, B, C, D. All four can be different. Then too we can have a type of isomerism, and that is known as, it is known as EZ isomerism. E and Z form, capital E and Z. Now, this is not given in your NCRT in detail, so some other time I will teach you that. Okay, but here so far this is geometrical isomerism. Now, let us go on to the next one, and that is optical isomerism. Okay, now can you see the blackboard clearly? The lower part, especially. Okay. Let me stand here and explain. Okay. Now, let us go on to optical isomerism. What is optical isomerism? Now, which molecules they show optical isomerism? So let us first come here. Okay. What are the two necessary conditions? Before we go on to that, let me tell you, when do we say that this molecule is optically active and this is not optically active? Okay, so there is distinction. See, I have drawn a figure here, right? I have drawn arrows in all directions. Actually, our light, what we get from the sun or any other source, has vibrations in all plane, PLANE, right? So it has vibrations in all plane. We represent it like this. When this light is made to pass through Nicol prism, NICOL, Nicol prism. This is a special type of prism which has, you know what is a prism? You use in physics. Okay. So this prism has a property, it will allow only light in one plane to pass through it and other vibrations it absorbs. So the light which comes out from the Nicol prism has vibrations only in one plane. This is known as plane polarized light. It is known as plane polarized light. It is known as plane polarized light. So we have plane polarized light. Here we have taken organic compound, dissolved it in an organic solvent. Organic compounds rarely are soluble in water. Okay, they are more soluble in ethanol, carbon tetrachloride, benzene. Okay, so these are non-polar solvents. You dissolve it and then what? Let this plane polarized light pass through. What will happen? You know, light, the plane of the light is rotated either towards left or it is rotated towards right. Can you see my hand? It is either rotated towards left or it is rotated towards right. Can you see my hand now? Either in this direction. This is towards your left. This will be towards your right. By an angle theta. Theta is nothing but it is angle of rotation. Okay. This angle can be measured with the help of an instrument called polarimeter. Okay. This angle, right, is can be measured with the help of an instrument called polarimeter. Okay. See here. Theta is angle of rotation measured by polarimeter. If the plane of polarized light is rotated towards left like this, the organic compound is said to be optically active first of all, and then it is levorotatory. Levo means towards left, and in front of the name of the compound, in simple brackets we write small l. This is levorotatory. If it is rotating towards right like this by an angle theta, then it is dextrorotatory or it is represented by small d. Is that clear? So that is it. Alright. Now see, what are the two necessary? Now you know when will a molecule show optical isomerism if such a phenomena is observed. If it is making the plane of polarized light to rotate towards left or right. Fine. Now come here. What are the two necessary conditions? Several molecules are given to you and you are asked in competitions, this type of question is asked. Number of molecules are given to you and you have to tick mark the molecule which is optically active. Okay. What do you look around for? Number one, presence of an asymmetric carbon atom. What do we look around for? Presence of an asymmetric carbon atom. Okay, what is this asymmetric carbon atom? A carbon atom, see example is here. A carbon atom whose all four valencies are satisfied by different atoms or group of atoms. Am I right? Okay. So a carbon atom whose all four valencies are satisfied by atoms or group of atoms. Here all of them are different. Asymmetric center or asymmetric carbon atom is marked with an asterisk mark. Okay. So at least one asymmetric carbon atom should be present. If I remove Cl and I write CH3 here, this will not show optical activity. Why? Because there will be no asymmetric carbon atom. Okay? Alright. Second condition is more important than the first one. Asymmetric means the carbon atom whose all four valencies are satisfied by four different atoms or group of atoms. Four different atoms or group of atoms. Okay, all right. Now see, correct. Second one, molecule should be asymmetrical. This is a very necessary condition. Second condition, if both the conditions are not met, it will not show optical activity. Okay? If only one is present, second is absent, it will not show. Second is more important than the first one. Sometimes a molecule has two or three asymmetric carbon atoms, but still it does not show optical activity. Okay? I will give you just now example of such a molecule. Molecule should be asymmetrical. Have you written that? Okay. Now come and see this molecule. The second one. Can you see this? It has got, okay, this carbon atom, what are the four valencies? Hydrogen, OH, CHO, and this whole molecule is occupying only one valency. Okay? 1, 2, 3, and this whole thing is 4. That means what? This is an asymmetric carbon atom. This is an asymmetric carbon atom. Similarly, for this carbon atom, OH, H, CHO, and this whole is forming one valency, only one bond, isn't it? So, this is also asymmetric. So, in this molecule, there are two asymmetric carbon atoms. So, such a molecule should show optical activity. But to our surprise, it does not show optical activity because it is not meeting with the second condition. How? Molecule should be asymmetrical means if you try and divide the molecule into two halves according to a plane, see, if I divide the molecule, we do it like this. It's like a rubber ball, and you try and divide it into two, you will have to cut through the plane. Okay. This is line of symmetry means you put a needle through a ball. Okay, such that you can divide the ball into two equal halves. There are different types of symmetries, line of symmetry, plane of symmetry. Okay, so here this dotted line, if I draw, I can get two equal halves of the molecule. Absolutely same. It is like I have turned this molecule like this. Yes or no? They are not mirror image. Mirror image is something else. This is just, they are similar. Okay. Yes, you can say mirror image because this is left hand side, this is right hand side. They are mirror image. Correct. Okay. This is left hand side. This molecule is standing in front of the mirror and you are getting this image. Okay. But the molecule on the whole, see, if this half will rotate the plane of polarized light towards left, the other half will rotate it towards right. So one will rotate towards left by an angle of say 30 degrees. The other half will rotate to right by an angle of 30 degrees. So the net result will be that there will be no optical activity. The net result will be, yes, the net result will be theta will be 0. Such a molecule will not show optical activity. Okay? Is this clear? All right. Now, one more term concerned with optical activity, and that is, let's come here. What is this written here? Racemic mixture. Racemic mixture. What is racemic mixture? Where you are having two asymmetric carbon atoms and that line is drawn. It will not show. Why are you causing confusion? This one will show. This one will show. Because I cannot divide the molecule into two equal halves from anywhere, even if I cut it like this. Okay? But here, if I cut it like this, I can get two equal halves. Okay? Second molecule will not show. Now come here. Racemic mixture. When D and L means dextro and levorotatory form of an optically active compound equal in amount, both of them like equal proportion, they are mixed together in equal proportion, then the resultant mixture is optically inactive. Okay, the first example I had given you, in one molecule only you were having optical rotation in opposite direction. Okay, but you have compound, we have got D glucose, small d glucose and small l glucose. You take say 20 grams of D glucose and 20 grams of L glucose and mix them together in equal amount, right? Then what will happen? The resultant mixture will be optically inactive because half the molecules are rotating towards left, the other half are rotating towards right. The net result is the compound will be optically inactive. Such a mixture is known as a racemic mixture. It is a mixture of the D and L form of the same compound in equal amount. Okay, such that the resultant mixture is optically inactive. Okay, example I have given you, D glucose and L glucose, 20 grams of each one of them. Okay, all right. What is racemization? What is racemization? It is the process of conversion of an enantiomer, the process of conversion of an enantiomer into racemic mixture is known as racemization. The process of conversion of an enantiomer into racemic mixture is known as racemization. Okay? Alright, now listen carefully. Here we end our first class. Okay?